Today we are with Judith Owens, who is the Titanic Belfast Chief Executive and is now an MBE as well, very much deserved. It's lovely to have you on today, Judith.
Thanks very much, delighted to be on.
So of course we're on the run up now to the 10th anniversary of Titanic Belfast. It's very significant, and of course it's such a main hub for our tourism here in Northern Ireland, and it's great to see it flourishing. Of course you've been there from the very beginning. What challenges, if any, did you experience in trying to keep this attraction in Northern Ireland, because it's so world renowned?
I feel very privileged first to have been here from the beginning. I wasn't in the role of Chief Executive, but I was the Operations Director. So my role before I joined, or before we opened Titanic Belfast, was really to get the business up and running. So it has been, it's been a great highlight of my career to date. Keeping it in Northern Ireland, I think it was always going to be in Northern Ireland, so I don't think we had really any real challenges there. The idea for Titanic Belfast actually came out of the Good Friday Agreement, when there was a vision to kickstart international tourism. And we were one of the signature projects. They looked at it, I suppose, as a huge opportunity, an opportunity to bring what was a global brand. So Titanic was a global brand before we opened, but what it wasn't is it wasn't really ever related to Belfast. So when you think of it, even the film, the James Cameron film, it started in Southampton. It didn't actually talk about Belfast. So our job was to bring this amazing story and to bring it back to where it belonged, on the slipways of Harland and Wolff slipways, and we built Titanic Belfast there. So I don't think that the challenge was around keeping it in Northern Ireland, because I think it really belongs to Northern Ireland, and hopefully that's what we did. And by doing that, we really did push international tourism from year one. Titanic Belfast has welcomed over 6 million visitors in its 10 years. Probably getting close to 7 million, and they're coming from 145 countries across the globe. That just wouldn't have happened before we existed.
And you just touched on it there as well. My next question was, why is the exhibition so important to Northern Ireland and its inbound tourism? But as you say, it's obviously bringing the crowds into Belfast and seeing where it's originally been created and to see the actual hub. Why do you think it is such an important part?
Well, I think there's a number of things. Firstly, as I talked about, it's that global story that we brought back into the ownership of the Northern Ireland people and very much put it back in the place where it belonged. But also, I think, coming out of our sort of 30 years history, tourism and Titanic Belfast 10 years ago gave us something to talk about on the world stage that was really positive. And I think there was a real sense of civic pride when they saw Titanic Belfast win the best visitor attraction in the world in 2016. We really have come very far. As a people, we are so proud of our country. We love welcoming international guests and guests from anywhere. So I think, Titanic Belfast really gave people the opportunity to do that. I think another thing is that the amazing architecture of the building itself. It's that big shiny building that sits on our water's edge, and it has become synonymous and iconic to Belfast. I go to lots of different markets promoting Northern Ireland and Titanic Belfast, and you see the image of our building being used time and time again to represent Belfast. So I think that is that's also very important.
So for those NI Travel News readers who haven't actually visited the attraction, whether they be from farther afield or just haven't attended, what can they expect when they're visiting, and why must they visit this?
Okay, so we would say that Titanic is one of the biggest stories in the world. It's the biggest story, and Titanic Belfast, right in the heart of Belfast, is the best place to hear it told. So we would really urge people to come. It's an incredible story. It's a story of really it's human stories, and that's what we celebrate. So yes, of course, we talk about the amazing innovation and ingenuity that went into the building of Titanic, but actually the story of Titanic itself is a human interest story. It's a story of people who had dreams and who were leaving on what was the largest ship in the world, going in many parts to a new life in America, which never happened. she was on her maiden voyage, and she sank on her maiden voyage. And I think, you know, that is a really, really strong story. And if you come to Titanic Belfast, we tell it in all its glory. We tell it with many different layers using technology. And there's something at Titanic Belfast that is going to really connect with each and every one of the people that come and visit us. The thing about Titanic Belfast is, you know, if you're 4 or 5, you will love it. But also, if you're, you know, if you're in your 70s and 80s, you will love it as well. So it really connects right across the generations.
Yeah, and I found that myself actually going down to it. It really is. It's such an interactive experience, especially when you compare it to the likes of the Ulster Museum, who of course have a part on the Titanic as well. As you say, it's such a big part of Northern Irish history, but the experience itself is fantastic, and the way it has been done is very emotional. I find it to be very connecting, and I think those from Northern Ireland can really feel connected to it in that sense as well. So personally,
completely agree.
Yeah.
And what I would like to say is, you know, the Titanic exhibition down in the Folk and Transport Museum is excellent as well. And the great thing about, you know, if you come to visit Titanic Belfast, there's so many other places that you can pack in a weekend. And I think it's all those different experiences that make Belfast and Northern Ireland very, very different.
So personally, what is actually your favourite part of the experience, and why?
Okay, so obviously I know our galleries very well. I couldn't count the number of times that I have walked around the galleries, both with people in them and without them. And I think, you know, each of the galleries has its own real identity. But for me, it's not about the technology. For me, it is about those human stories. And one of the stories I love is Father Brown. Father Brown was a Jesuit priest that was on board, but he was an amateur photographer at the time. And he took some of the most amazing photographs. And the fact that he actually got off the ship in Cove, so he didn't go on the journey, and he survived. But actually what survived is a brilliant account of what life looked like on board. And one of the galleries is completely dedicated to his photographs. He also took the very last photograph that we think exists of Titanic, as he was in the little boat going from Titanic over to shore. He took a photograph of the ship as she sailed away, and I think that's probably one of the most famous photographs and the most poignant photographs in the world. And actually, as I'm telling you the story, I can feel the hairs on my neck stand up, just because you're right, it's the emotion that it actually creates.
So just, of course, I've already mentioned how the birthday celebrations are on their way. I'm sure you're gearing up heavily for that now. Can our readers get an insight into what will be happening over the next week or two in relation to the birthday celebrations?
Okay, so there's lots happening over the next week or two, but actually we hope to extend it for the year as well. You know, we haven't got all the plans in place for the year, but we will, you know, there will be some great opportunities for your readers to come down and really celebrate with us. And that's what it's about. It's about the fact that we brought so many people on this journey with us, and we want them to enjoy the celebration and the key milestone that is our 10th birthday. So next weekend, the weekend of the birthday celebration, which starts on the 31st of March, will be very much a sort of birthday bash, and we will having lots of activity down on site on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But we have also curated a very special photographic exhibition. And we always talk about the men that built Titanic. Well, this is the people that built Titanic Belfast. So it really shows the story of how Titanic Belfast came about. And lots of brilliant and very, very poignant photographs of the people that actually were involved in bringing Titanic Belfast to what she is today. So that exhibition will run throughout the summer, so there's lots of opportunity for people to come down, see that complimentary exhibition, but also, you know, just experience, even if you're not going through our gallery, but just experience what it is like in and about Titanic Quarter. We've got the Maritime Mile that runs right along from Big Fish, right along the waterfront edge. And you know, it's a great space to spend time with family and friends.
So thank you very much for joining us today. I'm really appreciated that you, of course, you're very busy. So I thank you for taking your time out to speak to us and our readers today. And good luck with the celebrations and for the rest of the year as you expand and develop Titanic Belfast even further.
Thank you, Sarah, and hopefully we'll see you down here over the next year, and we really look forward to welcoming all your readers as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.